Have you ever noticed how a small moment at work or at home can suddenly make your chest tight or leave you spiraling over something simple? Or feeling like you're back in seventh grade, standing alone while everyone else laughs together? You feel that? You're not alone. One of the biggest breakthroughs I see in my coaching practice is this: most adult anxiety isn't adult at all. It's a childhood wound replaying itself in a grown-up situation. Today, I want to walk you through a real example. Of course, I'm going to tell you who my client is, but this example mirrors what so many other women and so many of my other clients have experienced. Feeling left out, trying to be perfect, spiraling when they make a small mistake, carrying invisible emotional weight from childhood, and feeling unseen as an adult. I'm going to show you exactly how we interrupt that old story and build a new one. By the end of this, you'll walk away with a tool to stop spiraling after a mistake, a process to identify old emotional wounds, a writing process method to release what's been stuck for decades, a self-compassion reframe you can use today, and a path to belonging to yourself first. So first, we have to talk about, why do I feel this way? If we've never met, I'm Jen Anderson, a beliefs and boundaries specialist and author of the best-selling book, Give Your Yes a Bestie Named No. I help women like you every day transform the stories that they're going through and give them new meaning. We shift those old stories and come up with stories that empower them, inspire them, and help them thrive on a daily basis. And part of what I'm teaching today is what we go through. Part of it also is adding in those boundaries that really help anchor the new belief. Adding in the places where you need to say no more so that you protect your energy and prioritize yourself. Not so that you feel selfish, but so that you feel empowered and energized to really help all those around you that need your help and count on you. That's what we want. That's where you shine. That's when you are living in your true bliss. This is what I work with women to do every single day. Stick around, pay attention, do the action steps as I tell you what to do, or write them down, or pause this video and come back to them, whatever you need to do to make sure you get this. At the end of this video, I'm going to offer you a free call. Take me up on that. Get on my calendar and let's talk about those things that are keeping you stuck. Okay, so let's go into this. We have to start with this. Why do I feel this way? We have to understand the origin of that anxiety that you feel in that moment. When my client came to me saying, I'm dealing with childhood wounds, she said, I made a mistake at work and I can't stop beating myself up for it. I feel like I'm the biggest loser out there because I made this mistake. But that wasn't really the issue. And this is so important. Most of the time, we don't spiral because of the mistake itself. We spiral because of what the mistake represents to our younger self. We spiral because when we were younger, people made fun of us and we associated that to mean we were worthless. So for her, it really sounded, if I make a mistake, people won't like me. If I'm not perfect, I won't belong. Other people always get chosen, not me. If something goes wrong, I'm the problem. This is identity level anxiety, not task level anxiety. Do you see that there could be a difference? This is who she feels at the core of who she is, not based off of just what happened there and the reaction that maybe her boss gave her. This was the reaction that she felt based on her whole life, her whole identity. So we started talking about what this could look like, and I gave her two grounding truths. Number one, you can fix a mistake. You don't have to punish yourself for it, just fix it. Number two, you're allowed to learn without labeling yourself as a failure. You get to make mistakes because that's the only way you are going to learn. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're a human. And everyone does it, whether you see other people's mistakes or not, they do it. They maybe learned to deal with them better. Maybe they don't go into crisis when they make a mistake. They've learned how to just go and fix it and take care of it, and it's no big deal. Or maybe they've gotten really good at compartmentalizing and hiding everything, and you just will never see it. That's almost worse because they're not even dealing with it. You are, you're here, you're paying attention to this, you are dealing with it. And honestly, that's where the real work begins. That's what my client figured out. She started doing the real work when we looked past the surface situation and we looked into the patterns beneath it. Is when the work triggers the old wounds. So she has what she likes to call her Three Musketeers moment. And this is exactly how she described it to me. She was walking downstairs from her office to where she needed to be, and she could hear three of her coworkers that she worked very closely with laughing together. Now, I will give you a little back surface here. Most of these three coworkers she has had issues with, not big issues, small issues, but issues enough that make her feel like she's always the outcast. So it was really easy for her brain to go from, I'm upstairs, they're laughing downstairs, and now there's no room for me. There's three of them. They're the Three Musketeers. There's no room for me. They belong. I don't. I'm invisible upstairs and they connect downstairs. These are all thoughts that went through her mind. These are all things that she thought. Logically, and as an adult, we know this isn't personal. She knew that they were just having a portion of their day and something came up and it was funny. She had to be upstairs doing her portion of the job and they all had to be downstairs doing their portion. She knew this wasn't personal, but her subconscious, that part of her that was formed at age 7, age 10, age 12, whenever that was, whispers in her ear, you're not chosen. You're on the outside again. Look, nothing ever changes for you. Wow, that breaks my heart. As she's telling me this story and what she's feeling, I'm sure I cried a little. I'm sure I had a couple tears roll down my eyes because that's heart-wrenching to think that anybody's going through that. But here's the truth. She wasn't triggered by the three women downstairs. She was triggered by the girl she used to be. She was triggered by her younger self. She was the girl that was picked last in PE, left out of junior high gatherings, speaking up to her mom and not being protected, learning early that no one comes to help me. I have to save myself. And saving yourself at a young age means hiding. It means not being involved. It means running away. And we carry these patterns for decades. Either somebody helps us see them, or we can't hardly handle it anymore and we go searching for answers. I know that's what I did. I also had a really great mentor that was helping me see them, but he wasn't pointing them out. So I had a combination. But I'm going to tell you what I told her. Your emotional reactions belong to a younger version of you, not the woman that you are today. Part 3 is about where we started and how we started the healing journey. I told her that the first thing I did when I started working on this, outside of recognition, because that is always the first step, you have to recognize that it's happening. You have to actually be okay sitting in that uncomfortable and saying, oh my gosh, I don't want this anymore. And I see this pattern. The next step is I told her to write down everything she remembers about a memory, like the first memory that she remembers of being excluded. I told her to write it without judgment, because it's not about accuracy. It's about her emotional truth. It's about the way it made her feel and the new belief that in that moment she accepted as 100% truth, because that is what we do. We have something happen to us and we turn it into why this happened. So for her, it was about not being picked or included. That meant in her mind, there was something wrong with her and she was not good enough. So I told her to write it down. This is the process I went through years ago when I had my inadequacy, when I realized the story that was holding me back. Write it out. Doesn't matter if it's accurate. Doesn't matter if it's grammatically correct. It's not for anyone else. It's for you. You may have to write it out 2, 3, 4 times. And it doesn't matter if things change slightly. What matters is that the emotion you felt is still the same. For me, I was about 7, but I don't know if that age is actually correct. I could have been 9. I could have been 5. I have a very mental image of my best friend's house in her basement. Her mom was my babysitter. She had other kids there. I can see them plain as day. Her dog was there. They had a washer and dryer and a little play area. She had set everything up for school. We were young. We played school. It was after school, I'm sure. And she liked to give out prizes. And the prize she was giving out, I really wanted. But she told me I couldn't win it because I was her best friend. She had to let somebody else win it. And that devastated me. Then I realized, like, this all connected to me. I realized that she never let me win. And I said something to her later and she said, your prize is being my best friend. And that's when I started to accept that I didn't deserve things, that I was inadequate, that I would never be good enough because I got other prizes and it was okay, even though those weren't the prizes I wanted. It's hard. And so I had to write that story out. I probably wrote it 20 different times, maybe more. I have journals with different stories in them. Did you notice I looked at my journals? Yeah, it's a physical thing for me. I looked at my journals. But when I feel inadequate, that vision pops in my mind of her basement, clear as day. And that's the story I had to write. I had to write what my younger self felt. I felt inadequate. I felt like I'd never be good enough because she told me I'd never be good enough. Even though she didn't come out and say, "You're not good enough," she said, "You don't get that. You don't ever get that." And in my mind, I went to, I'm never going to be good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. Whatever it was, it's always, I'm not enough. Inadequacy. And then I had to identify that pattern. Where does it keep showing up in my life? It showed up in my life for over 30 years. And it did also for this lady, for her not being chosen, being left out, feeling like the outsider. And then I told her, cry, let yourself cry. Crying is a great way to release emotion and calm your nervous system. You have to let those emotions out. You've probably been stifling them for years, crying in the corner, crying in your shower, crying in the dark where nobody sees you. Cry in front of yourself. Cry and let yourself just feel all the emotions. And then the last step to all of this is forgiving yourself first. You have to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to believe these things, to feel this way, and to let others do this to you. And it doesn't mean you're getting over it and you're pushing it away. I still have to forgive myself for saying it was okay and not speaking up when I was little. She had to do the same thing. I also had to forgive my friend. I also had to forgive my mom. Like there are things in there, right? There's lots of layers to this story. But the first step comes to forgiving yourself. Because until you forgive you, you're not going to forgive those other people. It's still going to cause resentment. You're still going to feel anger and hurt when it comes up, even if you think you've forgiven those people, because you haven't forgiven yourself for allowing it to happen. And yes, it was there protecting you. And yes, it was all good, but there's still some things in there. So start working on forgiving yourself. This is how we get past it. This is how we let that story not hold us back anymore. Part 4 is I'm not a failure, I'm learning. And that is a reframe that changes everything. She just kept saying to herself, my client, I feel like such a failure. And so here's the truth that I offered her. A mistake becomes a failure only if you decide to stop learning. She didn't fail, she corrected it. She communicated, she owned it. She learned and moved forward. That's emotional maturity, not failure. And it's one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your own story. And this is why I'm offering you a 20-minute call at the end of this, because yours might not be the same as hers. And you might not know the thing that you need to do. You might not know that shift to turn it from a negative into a positive, to see the lessons you learned from it. That's where I can come in and help. Part 5, belonging starts with you. You have to decide to stop feeling invisible. I told her she has to do something to tell them how she feels. So we created a script together, and she came up with, I'm always the one upstairs alone. You're downstairs laughing, and I never belong. And I said to her, tell them that. Tell them how you feel. Tell them what's coming up. And you don't have to wait to be chosen. You get to choose yourself. Belonging isn't something people give you. It's something you build inside yourself. This is worthiness at its core. Sometimes it looks like initiating a conversation. If you don't walk up to people and initiate a conversation, I would ask you what's in here that makes you think you're not worthy of that. Offering a compliment. Sometimes we offer compliments because we need to hear a compliment. And sometimes we just offer compliments because it's a great way to see others smile. Taking up space with your presence. This is huge. Stop apologizing for the things that you deserve to be doing. This is allowing you to take up space. When you apologize for it, you make your space smaller. Stop apologizing for it. And remind yourself, their connection is not a rejection of me. Those 3 coworkers downstairs laughing probably had nothing to do with her up there. I can't say that with absolute certainty because I'm not in their minds and I wasn't part of that conversation. But more than likely, it had nothing to do with her being upstairs. They weren't laughing at her and they weren't laughing because of her. They were just laughing without her because she was doing her job and they were doing theirs in another space. Some other things you can do to make yourself less invisible is rewrite your old exclusion story. Heal that origin wound. Reclaim the voice that went quiet years ago and become the woman your younger self needed. Belonging is an inside job. So if anything in this conversation stirred something in you, if you heard pieces of your own story in hers or mine, if you're tired of feeling invisible, anxious, or guilty over things you can't control, then here is your next step. I'm offering you a free 20-minute clarity call. It's not a sales pitch. It's not pressure. It's not coaching disguised as marketing. It's simply a space for you to bring the story that keeps restarting, the mistake you can't let go of, the old memory that still stings, the I'm always feeling left out feeling, the wound you've never talked about, or the part of you that wants to belong to yourself again. We'll spend 20 minutes together exploring where this pattern began, how it's showing up, what it's costing you emotionally, and the next right step that will bring you relief, clarity, and peace. So I want to know what might change in your life if you don't have to carry this alone anymore. If that question pulls at you even a little, trust that. Book the call. There are some clarifying questions when you book your call. Those are going to help me be able to do this call in 20 minutes. And if we can't make it through in 20 minutes, we'll book a second follow-up call. But we'll get you to where you understand the story and why it's there. So don't skip this action step just because it seems scary. When we get those little butterflies inside and we're like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm scared, that is absolutely your response to knowing that it's time to do it. Thank you for joining me. If you feel that tug, let's have that call. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I'm cheering you on to make that next step and get over this story that you're telling yourself.